So from your perspective then, who decides what we borrow?
Mostly of this is decided by the Parliamentary Committee on Budget and Finance, and they also advise the Central Bank, they also advise the Treasury on the kind of developments needed, and this now also help in determining the kind of debt we'll have.
I don't think it's up to one person. I think there's a lot of offices involved. Maybe the National Treasury, the Office of the Controller of Budget, of course the National Assembly with some of the legislation that's in place. But ultimately, of course, the executive and the cabinet that's involved.
Parliament decides, yes.
Parliament needs to give approval and authority for borrowing to happen. So meaning that the passing of certain amendments, certain regulations or certain documents by Parliament is very pertinent before debt can be borrowed. But of course the National Treasury plays a key role in terms of putting everything together to ensure that there's some certain figures and some certain amounts that are actually being borrowed. Yes.
It's the legislators.
The decision is of course made by the government, and which is not supposed to be. It is supposed to be done by the government, but through our parliament.
So that lies on the executive, specifically for Ministry Treasury.
So fundamentally, it is supposed to be citizens, us as citizens, to actually decide how much we borrow. But administratively, that decision is made by the Public Debt Management Office that carries out the day-to-day debt transactions on behalf of government. Now, the reason why citizens are such an important part of this is because in Kenya there is a 2.5-year budget cycle through which we decide how we're going to raise revenue in order to deliver the public services that we want. And part of that revenue is how much should we actually borrow that eventually becomes public debt in order to realize certain infrastructure projects or certain projects in health or education as well. And so there's key opportunities for citizens within that process, known as public participation, that you can actually give your input on how you want public debt to be borrowed. This input then goes towards the National Assembly, which then has the final role of rubber stamping the amount that we're going to borrow each year, and also how we're going to manage our debt over the next 2 and 3 years.